When it comes to making new ideas, I like to use the IdeasBot 2000. Create ideas with one simple word. Wow! And watch as the robot works away. In just 20 seconds you have a brand new idea.
You probably think this robot is cool. You probably want one. Well, you can't, because I haven't made it yet. Which is why I'm going to. To make the Ideas robot, there is 3 important steps. Software, being the code, hardware, like the speaker or microphone, and the box, which is the box. We're going to start with the code because nothing else can run without it. But before I start, I think it's important to say that I've never coded before, so all of what you're about to see is done by a qualified, professional dumbass. So the first thing we need to figure out is how the IdeasBot is actually going to generate an idea. I had a few ideas, like writing 2 lists of words and randomly combining them to make a sentence, but the downside to this is that there's a limited amount of combinations we can make. My other idea was to create a program that on the spot made a sentence based off words you gave it in the moment, but the downside to this, again, is that we have to do stuff, and if we want the Ideas robot to do everything for us, we can't use this method. So what if we combine the 2 methods, random word selection combined with automatic sentence generation? Well, that's what I did, and it works pretty well. This right here is the brain of the IdeasBot. There's a few bits missing, but we'll get to that in a bit. This code looks really complex, but it isn't. I know some of you aren't massive geniuses like me, so we'll try and break it apart. Ignoring these bits which you don't need to know yet, the first thing that happens is the IdeasBot opens up YouTube and takes a screenshot of the homepage. Using this screenshot, a module called PyTesseract takes all the text in this image and converts it to a string. Now, for the actual ideas generating part, it just goes to ChatGPT. Look, I may be incredibly smart, but even I can't make my own sentence generating program, so ChatGPT will have to do for now. Once ChatGPT has combined some words, the IdeasBot takes a second screenshot where it extracts the idea itself. Using another module called TTS, the finished title is finally turned into an audio file which we can play. So hopefully you understand now. If you don't, then replay that segment, I don't know. So now step 1 is done, it's time for step 2, the hardware. Obviously we don't want the IdeasBot to run on my PC. I don't know if you could tell, but the box in the intro was not a PC. So we need a small computer that is capable of running code and powering electronics. For this, I'm using a Raspberry Pi. Is there better options? Yes. Cheaper options? Yes. Easier to use options? Shut up. I also got a speaker and a microphone so I can activate the IdeasBot and play the finished title. I said earlier the code was the brain of the IdeasBot. The Raspberry Pi is the physical brain, and I guess the speaker and microphone are the organs. Now is also time to reveal those hidden pieces of code. The first part was to wirelessly connect to the Raspberry Pi. The second part was to listen to the microphone, and the third part was to send over the finished title. But wait, for the smart people watching this video, you may see a massive mistake. Why am I sending over the finished title to the Raspberry Pi if the code is meant to be running on the Raspberry Pi? I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. I screwed up really bad, basically. The code was originally written to run on the Raspberry Pi, where it would use the microphone to start, generate the idea, then play the finished title on the speaker. But for that to work, you need a few important Python modules, such as speech recognition, PyTesseract, text-to-speech, but I couldn't get any of them to work. So basically, my Raspberry Pi was completely useless. I want to blame this on the Raspberry Pi, but I'm like 83% sure that it's my fault. But now we have an even greater problem. I have a speaker, Raspberry Pi, and microphone that can't run the code that I wrote to run on them. Sometimes in life, your Raspberry Pi becomes useless. So you have to find the stupidest way to incorporate it into your robot. Me, I said that. That's right, I'm not just going to let my expensive Raspberry Pi go to waste. I'm going to find a really clever way to still use. I'm going to run a Zoom call off my Raspberry Pi so I can talk to my PC. This is a genius plan. Just so all of you understand my incredible plan, I'm going to run a Zoom call off the Raspberry Pi's built-in browser and use it to communicate with the microphone to the other member of the call, my PC. Once my PC hears the activation word, it will run the code to generate the idea, then send it back over, where I will then play it on the speaker. If that's not the best idea ever, then subscribe to this channel. So that's step 1 and 2 complete. All that's left now is the box. For the housing, we need a really high-tech, sophisticated box. Sorry to anyone that's scared of the word box. It was really inconsiderate me saying it that many times in a row. 10 to be exact, for anyone wondering. But moving on, we got it working. Cool, it works. It's working. Now, I could just leave it like this. Test it out, mess around with it. Or I could add some special features. Maybe. Actually, maybe I won't. I can't really be bothered. Fun fact. I'm wearing Christmas clothes. Oh, and that added special features. Just like calling this a robot, I lied. I was actually planning on adding special features the entire time. It was all just a facade to get you to watch longer. And I guess it worked because you're here now. So the first feature I wanted to add was an idle phase. Something the Ideas bot could do when it wasn't performing its only function. So for my idle phase, I decided to give it a voice line so that it could randomly choose from and read out. To do this, I used a simple module called random that you can use to generate a number within a start and end value. I then assigned each number to a different voice line and used Pygame to read them out. Welcome to the first test of voice lines on the robot. What the? I bought this microphone specifically for the Ideas bot. It's really high tech.
Can you hear that? That's my pillow calling. And it gets really mean if I make it wait too long.
Now that's a voice line. No, there's nothing else, is there? Perfect test! For the second feature, I decided to give the Ideas bot some personality and independent decision-making abilities. So when the Ideas bot receives the command to generate the idea, the same random module from before picks either 1 or 2. So based on this, I want you to try and guess what feature I added. If you guessed consent, you would be correct. I added the consent feature to the Ideas bot. There is a small but sizable 50% chance it can refuse to generate you an idea. Welcome to test 2 for the yes/no feature. I didn't want to run the entire code, so I just wrote some small code that does the exact same thing, but only what I want it to do. So imagine I've just, asked it to generate me an idea.
Nah, I'm good.
Pretty impressive, right? And that's it, so goodbye. And finally, to top it all off, if you are lucky enough to get an idea, don't get too excited, because you probably are going to get a 40-second unskippable advert. Hey. I don't make the rules around here. I just make the Ideas bots. And because I value your time, I didn't make it a guarantee. Only an 85% chance. Yep, you know the drill by now. Test 3. Oh, I just asked you for an idea. I hope you don't give me any ad breaks.
Now for a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Very cool, right? Very cool. So there we have it.
Somebody said today that I'm lazy. I nearly answered him.
So there we have it. We are able to start a Zoom call on a Raspberry Pi and activate some code on a PC, which generates an idea, which gets sent back to the Raspberry Pi, which gets read out alongside an advert, or not at all if it refuses to do that. So I don't know about you, but I would call that an Ideas bot. And you can see him on display right here. He's just cycling through his voice lines right now.
I need expert advice.
As you can hear. Pretty cool, right? I spent like 2 months on this. Was it worth it? I don't know. So I guess you guys probably want to see it working. I guess I'll give you that. It's the least I can do. So the Ideas bot is over here. Its organs kind of fell out between recordings, which is why it's kind of in pieces.
I'm not.
There we go.
I'm limited edition.
So if I say the keyword, I have no ideas. Open YouTube, take a screenshot, message, title.
Doctor strikes again. Nico Omalana's Penguin Adventure.
Yes.
Quote.
Yes. I am the best coder to have ever existed.